Okay, hello everybody, it's me, Sadahat. Here I am again with another live session. Today I will have with me Nishad from Doha Hub. Yeah, I just quickly add him to the conversation. It's another session about the series Hub Talk, and there he is,
Hello.
Nishad. Hi Nishad, how are you?
I'm great. I'm great. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you very much for joining me today here. And yeah, I was actually introducing the people. This is Nishad from Doha Hub. He is the curator at Doha Hub. And yeah, on Nishad's request, this live stream will be just about like 15 to 20 minutes. We will just have quickly view on the responses that have been taken regarding COVID-19 and future aspects, right?
Yeah, perfect. That's the topic we agreed on. So yeah, thank you for the great opportunity for to having this the series. You're continuing this as a part of your hub talks. Congratulations on this, and it's a quite
Thank you.
good way of engaging virtually at this point of time when physical meetings are cancelled all across the globe. So I'm glad to represent the hub and to talk to Faisalabad hub. I've been watching your great work during the COVID time, supporting the community and all the been doing.
Thank you very much, Nishad. Thank you very much. So, without any delays, I would just start with the
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah.
Can you tell us something about the situation in Doha right now?
Yeah, well, situation is a bit under control. We don't
Mm-hmm.
have any full-time what do you call lockdown. We have been quite aggressive in testing and making sure that as many as people have been having found out whether they have COVID or not. So the government is proactive doing that, quarantining people and making necessary steps. So it's been quite a good time. They have been doing their best, and a lot of community initiatives also supporting with food for the workers, and there have been
Mm-hmm.
initiatives supporting people who really required support in terms of who are daily wages and they need support. There have been campaign. There was a campaign for volunteers to support sort of the initiative. So and
Mm-hmm.
all this supermarkets have been kept super very well managed so that people don't feel you really have to buy the necessary items for your home, and also making sure you follow the safety statements and requirements of the state. So well, at the time, we don't have any panic situation. The death rates are one of the lowest in the world in Qatar, so we hope we are all safe here. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, great to hear that. Can you tell me, like, because our one of our topics is the responses regarding COVID-19. So, what kind of measures has the government taken in Qatar regarding COVID? Can you brief us a bit about that?
Well, I mean, the government of Qatar was been quite aggressive in their policies, and they had an emergency response team, and headed by the Vice Foreign Minister, Her Excellency Lulu Al Khatir. She heads the emergency team, who is looking after the whole issue around COVID and the measures taken, which is foreseen by the Office of His Excellency. So the most of the measures include a huge number of testing, and that's something Qatar has been progressively doing, is to get as
Mm-hmm.
many as tested so that you identify that, as WHO mentioned, the best way is to have most testing done. So Qatar has been aggressively doing that testing in a
Mm-hmm.
very high rate. So we have a good number of COVID cases coming up. It also comes with the fact that we have very aggressive checking throughout the country. So it gives us a lot of sort of feel that okay, we know this person's have been infected or not. So we don't have
Mm-hmm.
to have in a double mind that okay, this part of the city has a lot of COVID, so you don't have to go there. So you can take those measures. And they also maintain some lockdowns in a few areas, which like a hot zone or red zones, what do you call in some countries. So there have been necessary steps taken, and they make sure a lot of other necessary stores are open so that people can
Mm-hmm.
get their food. And also it's Ramadan, people really require a lot of food and items to
Exactly.
to look after their fasting and etc. So I think necessary steps have been done. I mean, testing has been progressive, partial lockdown, plus making sure that 20% people work and 80% stay at home. Work out from
Mm-hmm.
home is something very new, like everywhere else.
Yeah.
Aggressively, people are sitting at home and trying to work. which is not very used to. So there was a lot of
Mm-hmm.
dilemma how to make sure that your work is 100% receiving the success rates and how productive it is. But it has been quite active. Even the schools here in Qatar has been completely moved online. So students are
Mm-hmm.
taking classes through all the Zoom accounts, etc. So it's completely transformed, how the things has to be in the past. And this is quite a new world, to be frank, we're living in, where things have been more in virtual. And we at the hub also have taken a lot of first steps. For example, we moved on, like a lot of webinars came in. In the beginning, we came up some webinars on mental health because people started
Mm-hmm.
sitting at home, which is not quite used to. And people
Yeah.
start suffering sort of thing from a mental perspective, which you don't show symptom. It's not like a wound
Mm-hmm.
and you feel like, okay, I have a wound, it starts swelling, or you have a fever with a temperature. Mental health, you really see it. It's something inside you. And we started with a couple of experts from the backdrop of who are having some coaching experience in medical. So they came in and we received a very good attention. People started watching our show. It was on a Zoom account, and we tried to get as many as people for attended, and also give us a lot of tips that can keep them sane at such insane times. So
Mm-hmm.
so we did a couple of webinars on mental health, and recently, actually yesterday, we did one on work from home, how the COVID would transform the work from home system or a scenario in the coming days. And it was very, very, very well received, and we see that a lot of conversations happening, and we hub try to take this topic, which is of great relevance at this point of time, to give it to the community. Guys, there's something a lot of the companies are talking about. The IT sector especially want to take all
Mm-hmm.
this job back to your homes. So are we ready? Our systems and the what do you call them, utilities are ready to take that change, or we ourselves are ready to change. So those things were being asked, and it was quite a conversation. And we're also looking for
Mm-hmm.
more sort of webinars in the coming days. Yeah.
Great. Can you brief us quickly about the webinar, like what the topic was and what you people discussed, so the people who didn't have a chance could get a glance at it?
Yeah, we will probably would put those in our YouTube channels very soon. We're working on that to get those Zoom videos downloaded on the Zoom account of the Global Ship and Doha Hub. So
Mm-hmm.
the first one was on mental health. We had two great speakers who are also life trained coach, certified coaches, and they were giving some explanatory ideas how such sort of things they have been doing, because they are life coaches, and they know that sort of
Mm-hmm.
scenario, how people suffers internally, and you really don't understand what's going through. And there were a couple of great questions. People are telling, yeah, I do work. And there was also questions, some people still go to work because they have to go to work for sort of necessity. And how can they stay safe and also keep their mind in sanity? So it was both the ways. People really understand it's important to work sometime, and also make sure that you stay safe, and also keep
Mm-hmm.
your mind in a safety proportion. So that was our first webinar, and we really received a good response. So we went for another one. So we brought in one expert from the Ministry of Social and Service, I believe, and he's a psychiatrist, and he has a great experience how families has to uh, get through such horrible times. So it's not only
Mm-hmm.
individual. From a family perspective, family goes through a lot of things, from taking care of kids at a virtual classes, looking after family. Then now you spend more time than usual times with the family, like 24 hours, 7 days a week. Sort of how you can make sure that's bounded well, and how that can be actually helping the family. Then it has a negativity. So that was something we discussed with one of our great guests who came for our second webinar. And third webinar, we
Mm-hmm.
were thought of, okay, now what after mental health? We wanted to explore another opportunity or topic. Then we came on the last 2 weeks that everybody's now working from home. So what is the
Mm-hmm.
future of working from home? So we came up with this topic, and one of our shape recommended a great speaker. So he was our speaker last night, and quite a good number of people showed up. We got like a 60 plus people joining the Zoom call, and he was an expert on teleconferencing and how the future
Mm-hmm.
would be in the coming years. That all these conferences would be moved to online. We don't know to what extent, but he was extending that our systems are already planned to do that. So
Mm-hmm.
this would be definitely helping them to make sure technology can be used in a way that the COVID is showing us the right path, how we can use the online platforms, so reduce your carbon footprint, but also making sure that everybody gets an opportunity to participate. Sometimes, not many get an opportunity to travel, but there's restrictions, there is visa issue. But when it is on a telly, on an online platform, on a virtual platform, everybody gets a chance to be part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah,
so that,
great.
that was the last one. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's definitely essential in this time to connect to people and like communicate information, spread awareness. So it's great to see all the hubs doing great work. And yeah, it's definitely a great idea to talk about those topics which are actually relevant right now at the situation. So I would thank to all the people who are commenting, and we are trying to read all those comments. And yeah, so okay, yeah, hi Akash. So yeah, he's asking for rosas, and I just have an idea because we have Ramadan right now, right? So how are the people actually dealing with the whole situation? And then regarding to Ramadan, how is the situation in your country right now?
Well, Ramadan, normally in Ramadan times, it's quite a happy time. People go out to dine, and there's a
Mm-hmm,
lot of majlis where people, through charity, provide food for underprivileged people who lives here. So there's a lot of support used to happen normally, but those they call us Ramadan tents. So those tents are completely removed, and that used to be a good place for a lot of people to get
mm-hmm,
nice supper or meals. So,
mm-hmm,
but that didn't stop because of COVID. Yeah, we keeping sure that the social distancing and the precautionary measures are taken in the right time. So, what the government, in support with local charity organizations like Qatar Charity, has been working profoundly to get those food to their homes. So, instead
mm-hmm.
of coming them to the Ramadan tents, which used to be a normal
Ah,
scene
okay.
every year Ramadan, now they are taking them to their accommodations or their homes where they're staying to, the worker colonies
Mm-hmm,
there where they stay to, and also the police or the traffic police in charge also trying to distribute some foods at the signals when the cars are passing by. So sort of
mm-hmm,
they're trying to make sure that even though at a difficult time they're trying to reach out to the community, those who are not privileged, to get those
mm-hmm,
necessary food required or necessary things at this point of time. So they've been doing quite actively, and also Qatar has been supporting neighboring countries in a very, very quite supportive way. All the friendly neighboring countries have been supported through necessary supplies, medical as well
mm-hmm.
as food. So that has also been quite happily done. Yes.
Great, great to hear that, definitely. Yeah, so you think there are some responses that should have been taken but have not been taken? Is there something you think the government or people could do better?
Well, I think people should do something better. I have
Mm-hmm.
seen a couple of videos where people think it's like a holiday season. Everybody becomes all of a sudden
Yeah,
health enthusiastic. Everybody jogging. Okay, it's nobody's asking you to not to jog, but try to understand the situation and do
yeah.
some exercise if you really want to at home or in the terrace or
Mm-hmm.
something, and try to help the authorities not going out, which is an absolute necessity at this point of time. So
Mm-hmm.
that's something I would wish that people understand. The importance, and also some of the people have been not been really active. They congregate together to pray. Okay, we understand everybody has to pray in together. That's how it used to be. But
Mm-hmm.
at this point of time, it is for the personal safety of not only themselves, of other people who are going to join such gatherings,
Mm-hmm.
to avoid such gatherings, to make sure that we will all go back to that old level how we used to pray and things. But at this point of time, we need to abide by the law where they're asking us not to congregate together to come for prayers, which is a play. It would be a dangerous situation. So
Mm-hmm.
at this point of time, I still ask people. I see a lot of videos coming online that, oh, this city, the people are completely moving together, buying stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That is still happening, and people are still wondering
Yeah.
why we have a good number of cases coming up. That is because people are still going out. Okay, government
Mm-hmm.
has restriction, and it's to an extent. The rest is
Mm-hmm.
upon the people to take the necessary action. So I feel there's somewhere around people have to be more responsible and come up and abide by the laws and the restrictions which are put on place, and that is the only way forward at this point of time.
Okay. So are the mosques still open in Qatar?
No, we closed down when there was a lockdown in the beginning. That sort of locked down to the restaurants and locked down to mosques and parks and malls. So
Mm-hmm.
mosques are still on a lockdown, but one of the state mosques is working. But that is like only few people who is part of the mosque can do the
Mm-hmm.
necessary prayers at that point of time. But in general, all the mosques are closed down or shut down.
All right, okay. And what do you think how the future scenarios would look like in Qatar?
Well, for me, future scenarios looks positive.
Mm-hmm.
From economic perspective and job, I hope everything turns out to be good. But post-COVID
Mm-hmm.
would be a better place, and if we take necessary actions and policy in place, I'm sure Qatar would be doing exactly the same. And another term in terms of hub, we would be trying to put in some measures like this. We always
Mm-hmm.
see, oh, in-person meetings are very important. Now we're all doing
Mm-hmm.
tele meetings. So that can be
Mm-hmm.
something we can take as a part of the hub where we can organize events online, something like this, where you invite the speakers to come in and see if everybody can join virtually. Even if
Mm-hmm.
you're not living in Doha, you might be traveling. So in that case, people sometimes say, hey, I couldn't join today's meeting, I'm traveling. So now you don't have an
Mm-hmm.
excuse. Now you all have a virtual way to connect and you have this platform to use those things.
Yeah.
So probably these are the good takeaways that organizing some online webinars where you cannot invite everybody to join. Probably you have lack of some funding. So what you can do is like you can invite 50 people, rest of the 50 you can make sure they can watch it online. So we are now
Mm-hmm.
all used to these handy tools. People are now just ask a kid how many online platforms they know. Are they going to start counting, hey, Skype, Zoom, WebEx, Microsoft Teams? So these terms are
Mm-hmm.
quite normal now to everybody's names, especially kids know
Mm-hmm.
Zoom. They never
Mm-hmm.
heard of a terminology like that, Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
Every school here in Qatar is using Zoom to a great extent, and universities are using, I think, Microsoft Teams. So yes, something takeaway is that there are a lot of good things we can do virtually, and it doesn't require a lot of time. If people are busy. People will say, I cannot make it to the meeting. Now, probably
Mm-hmm.
on a coming days in the post-COVID times, I think as a hub, we can think of having some virtual meetings itself, not even thinking of having a real-time meetings, even if it is in a small
Mm-hmm.
city, not a matter. So that would be something we would be taking away as a hub and try to organize some lot of inter-hub events like this, where
Yeah.
another other curator or the hub members can interact with the from another hub, which we normally don't get an opportunity unless you go to Shape Summit or any other WEF
Yeah.
events. So this
Mm-hmm.
is also getting know each other, the shapers across the globe.
Yeah, definitely. This whole situation gave us the opportunity to get more connected, to get in touch with each other, what we usually won't have done if it would be for the sake of the normal times. So, right. And you just mentioned like that a lot of like globally we see that workplaces and institute have shifted to the digital platforms. So how did the people deal with that? Was that difficult for the people to now like stay at home and use the computers to communicate and have the classes online?
Well, I think it was difficult in the beginning. Now I think there's something people say you get used to because it's been like a 40 days now. People are mostly working from home. So in a
Mm-hmm.
way, people try to adapt to the given situation. So I felt end of the day, people are finding it easy. What they were trying to
Mm-hmm.
do was in the beginning is to understand the whole scenario. Then they
Yeah.
realize it is not for a few days. Then they realize it's gonna stay for long. And that
Mm-hmm.
realization made many people to start like, okay, now it's the time to work forward. And I mean, I believe now people are more or less used to this sort of scenario than the other perspective where it's like, oh, it was such a difficult way to adapt. They understood the situation required such drastic measures to make changes in their normal routine life. And I think
Mm-hmm.
people in a good way did that transition towards that sort of online classes. I mean, I would appreciate better than us, like who are working class people. I think kids did a great job. They have classes in the
Mm-hmm.
morning and afternoons through the Zoom accounts in the schools. I mean, I would say they done a quite a better job than any of our young people or our parents or etc. So that's
Mm-hmm.
something you should. I mean, it should be a surprise, but the kids are the new generation who are more into technology, and they
Mm-hmm.
might be loving that sort of engagement virtually, just seeing their teacher, but not able to
Mm-hmm.
meet their friends sitting next to their classrooms.
Mm-hmm.
So this is quite a future in education, also, I believe. There are a lot of online sessions happening, online courses happening. So future might a student doesn't even have to go to London to study at LSE. They can sit at home and
Mm-hmm.
study at LSE. So probably we don't know how it would be. That would be the future of education. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I definitely agree with you. And also, we were very privileged to have this all this technology in this times, which
Yep.
provided us so much ease. So you think like all these things, like staying at home, working from home, studying from home, will be implemented in the future after COVID-19 hopefully ends?
Well, immediate after COVID, I think it would be because given the economic crisis and things,
Mm-hmm,
there would be a lot of extra cuts from your traveling allowances is cut, your petrol cuts, and all those
mm-hmm,
cuts want to come as a stimulus. So the governments and corporates would be moving in towards to save the economy and help keep the jobs. So this
mm-hmm,
cuts can be done through doing those things. Okay, guys, I'm gonna pay you so much, but I'm cutting you all these extra curricular things, but you can stay at
mm-hmm,
home and work. So that can be a quite something in the coming days. I've been seeing in a lot of countries, especially from IT industries, they're asking now, okay, now you can work at home all the time. You're not going to use your labs, but you may have some pay cuts or probably sometime even without pay cuts. But yes, the future holds for work from home situation. Not necessarily every avenues to require the same thing. Maybe some of the jobs really you need to be at a physical sense. So other than
mm-hmm.
that, jobs where you really, really, really don't need to be at physically available, I think those jobs would be completely adapting to something called work from home.
Yeah, great. I definitely understand your point and agree with it. So, coming to an end of the conversation, what personal experiences did you have during the whole pandemic, and what kind of impact did the pandemic had on you?
Well, probably I started to enjoy being home. Probably I wasn't something thinking like, I may do something tomorrow. We have an event. We have to meet
Hmm.
outside, have some coffee. So that's quite now gone. Now I don't
Hmm.
remember which coffee shop I've been in a month now. And the other great thing what I realized was when our hub with support of some business officials here, we got to meet some gifts to some of the kids who are in quarantine. One of our hub member, um, um, Anu, recommended that there are a lot of kids in quarantine who are infected with COVID. And we have some
Hmm.
festival which is called the Kids Festival during Ramadan. It was yesterday, a day before yesterday, where kids get their gifts like chocolates and gifts, sort of things. So we plan
Okay.
to get some gift and toys to these kids, and we went with some of the business associates in Qatar who wanted to support us. So we've been to this
Hmm.
place and we gave those to the in charge ones who will be supplying those toys to kids, and that was a great gesture. I mean, people are reluctant to go out. Everybody came out and like, yes, we are going
Hmm.
to give this toys to those kids who are like maybe in a not a good state of mind. I mean, they might be safe, but the whole
Hmm.
thing about COVID is that the mental thing. You cannot move. You are tried to be stopped in a place or in the villas or in the hotels or in the hospitals.
Hmm.
So we thought that was a great gesture to reach out to those kids, and I'm happy our hub was proactive in getting that done, and we are happy that we've been supported by the business community here to make sure that is happening. And I think that was a great gesture. I personally felt so happy being part of that initiative by my hub. So that's something I felt very happy in this very difficult times, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's a nice gesture. It's a great gesture, actually, also for children who are right now suffering because they are mostly the ones who are active, want to go out, see their friends. I mean, like
Hmm.
we have those platforms, like the technology, we can communicate right now, but they are like kind of limited to that. So, yeah, definitely a great thing. So, what do you think, like, what kind of impact the whole situation had on you? Like, more positive, negative? How are you using your spare time?
I'm using good. I mean, probably I should say I'm trying to reach out to a lot of people who I wish to, from
Mm-hmm.
friendship, friends, every family, and part of my NGO also. I'm reaching out to a lot of organizations at this point of time who are like working from home, and the rest of the time
Mm-hmm.
they might be traveling and busy. Now I know definitely they're at home. So basically, I understand that this is a good time to reach out to some of the NGOs we want to collaborate outside Doha, and it's been positive, and we got getting to connected with a lot of such institutions we wanted to partner with, and that is something positive I've got out of that. And also we're organizing a couple of webinars as a part of my NGO, which has been very positive, and we're looking for more collaboration this year. Mostly all the collaboration would be online and virtually,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm happy that this partnerships are happening. I wouldn't see this would happen if it is on a real world. People would say, I cannot travel because that would be traveling them here. Now I'm trying to
Yeah.
get them online, which they are like, okay, Nisha, they can give you 2 hours, no problem. So
Mm-hmm.
it's cheaper and not expensive, lesser carbon footprint, and you get the things done. So yeah, I always believe that physical meeting also has its own positive thing, and
Mm-hmm.
also negative effects also. But given the given situation, I mean, we cannot sit ideal. I mean, in terms of how you want to see things forward, either in case of environment or jobs or education. That's why schools went online. That's why even the
Mm-hmm.
climate activism went online. That's why people started working from home. So these are the measures we all took, collectively taken in order to make sure that things move on, systems, lives moves on. So I mean, that's a lot of positive things you get in all through, and I'm also happy. I mean, I learned a lot of good things, staying at home to, I don't know, from positive thing would be getting to touch with a lot of people who I would have
Mm-hmm.
not done if I had in a busy life where you really literally don't have time to do many stuff. Now
Mm-hmm.
you get a lot of time. I mean, probably I think you should have time, but probably now you started thinking that, okay, what if I would
Yeah.
do because I cannot do many things. So that's sort of realization. So I think
Yeah.
the positive things is that probably I have more time than I used to have. Probably that would be the great takeaway.
Uh-huh. And how do you use it? Like, what do? You have any suggestions for the people, like what they can do in their spare time?
Well, well, I think it's the best time to read. I mean, I'm an avid
Uh-huh.
reader, so probably my recommendations for people is to try to get your books. And it's difficult to get books these days because Amazon is suffering with all this
Yeah.
COVID issues. So I virtually got a couple of books just before the COVID, like five,
Mm-hmm.
7 to 6 books actually. Still 2 books are pending. So
Mm-hmm.
this is quite a nice time. But yeah, I got a good time to read those things. And also, me and my teams are working on a lot of proposals for my NGO at this point of time to, come up with ideas because everybody's in a standstill. When things started moving, you go and submit your
Mm-hmm.
proposal to all these funding organizations to help you. So that's something also
Mm-hmm.
we are working at this point of time. So in a way, we are utilizing it those in a good way, which, might not be helpful now, but these things
Mm-hmm.
gonna not last. We will move forward and things will be normal.
Yeah,
So are we prepared
definitely.
for that new normal? So we are trying to be prepared for that new normal. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's what everybody can do. Maybe you wanted to do something which you thought wouldn't be able to. Now
Mm-hmm.
try to make some things or changes that you can do in post-COVID. Maybe behavior change, maybe something like from your anger management or making your things go productive at workplace and do
Mm-hmm.
something you have never done. I mean, start thinking about things which you haven't done in the past. Probably that would help. This is my personal advice for everybody is to do something new. I mean, we don't want to go back to this post-COVID era, like how we used to be lazy, doesn't want to do
Mm.
things. If we were doing 80%, do 82. I'm not asking 90. Or not to go from 80, like, okay, I was
Uh,
an 80 and a productive guy. Now, COVID made me a lazy guy. So I'm going to 70.
mm.
I mean, that would be disaster. So probably that's something everybody has to think from a very personal perspective. And also, I believe in a lot of collective actions. And also, COVID shown us a lot of positive thing how humanity comes together to support one another. And we saw the most vulnerable in our society during COVID, which we may not see on a day-to-day life. That when we all enjoy
Yeah.
being at home with all the safety of four walls of our homes, a lot of people who still really struggle. They
Yes.
are on the front lines. So these are things we should
Mm-hmm.
realize that we are fortunate enough to sit at home with all the gloves and masks. So they are not everybody who has that privileges. So understand
Mm.
that world is not an equal place for everybody, but also at the same time do your part. I'm not saying everybody can do a lot of things, but whatever you can do from your perspective, you should contribute. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, definitely. I completely agree with you. And yeah, I also feel like if, like you said, if you can't give like 90%, give 82%. It's just about that you improve yourself. If you
Yeah.
at the end of the day don't have like learned anything and haven't brought any improvement into the life, has it made any sense? Like we should definitely learn something from the whole situation right now. So
Yeah.
thank
Definitely.
you. Yeah, thank you very much, Nisha, for joining me today. I think we are at the end of the conversation. You have a last message to the people, like you would like to convey to the people. Please share that with us.
I think I already shared it. Probably I should say that this is not the end of life, but there is a life coming forward.
Yeah.
Stay well and be prepared. You may have a lot of surprises.
Yeah, yeah, great. Thank you very much for joining me today, Nishad.
Thank
I'm
you.
looking forward to join with you
Thank
some
you.
other day again. So,
Inshallah.
yeah.
Inshallah.
Okay, all right. Have a great day. Bye.
You too. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.
Stay safe.